Welcome back to the 2024 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, with coverage this year brought to you by Hooked on Driving, Everyday Driver, and the Valente Group. Bryan and I are here this time with Hall Pass, right? Team Hall Pass, no longer
Team Hall Pass.
So you've added a P to your name this year, and it's not Hall Ass. So it's Hall Pass. So tell us what else has changed this year. What car? What changes have you done? What's new? What's exciting? What's been going on?
Well, as far as the big changes, we added a third driver who is not here right now. Michael Figliolia. That's always fun to say. Yeah, say that again, right?
How do you spell that backwards?
I don't.
Okay.
Feel free
Mitch
to
is,
fill him in however you see fit there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make a little cardboard cutout or something, and he's golfing or something right now. But Mitch has been, I've known Mitch going on, I guess, 15, 16 years, a little bit less time than Dan. Dan and he go way back. After last year, he really was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And we're like, well, we're going to need a different car because there's three of us then. So I'll let Dan talk about the new ride for this year.
Yeah, we're taking the Audi S5 sedan, so it helped space for us and be a little bit more comfortable than we were last year.
So the S5, that's still two doors though, right?
No, it's a sedan, four-door.
Four-door.
Four-door with a hatch.
So, okay. I need a picture of this. I need to see this car here. For some
Yeah,
reason.
on our entry list, in the entry list, there's a picture of it.
Who looks at that? So okay,
Who actually has the real cars in their entry list?
So is it right? Because I usually go through at random times and change people's pictures to appropriate things. That's one of the benefits to having access to the back end of things. So it's always
nice.
fun to do. So so you've known Mr. Fig Newton for a while. Okay, so it is
Fig Newton. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's it. So they're doing like what BMW did. So it's like, because wasn't the 5 Series or the S5 usually a two-door? So then they're making
it was. The older ones were 14 or 15 and older. Yeah.
Okay, so they're doing like the whole BMW. So what is it with the Germans in doing this? I think it's a valid question, because they start off with the coupe, and then they do like the Grand Sport model, right? The M6 Grand Coupe, like we had, Bryan. So they made a four-door version of the two-door. And then they a lot of times make sort of a sportier version of the four-door version of the two-door of the four-door. Because Ferrari used to do that also, didn't they? They had like the 360, then they had the 360 Challenge car, then they made the 360 Challenge of the Challenge for the street, and then they did the Stradale. So they did a race car of the road car, and then a road car of the race car of the road car, and then a race car of the road car of the race car of the road car. So anything to make a buck.
Yeah, they have so many different chassis, different motors, I guess just to increase some sales that way.
I mean, there's the flavor for everybody, I guess. So why did you pick this flavor of automobile? Let's go that route. So more comfortable, you have seats for Mr. Fig Newton. What else?
It's my daily driver. So actually we talked about it last year, because I just think that it's a pretty attainable car. The level of grip that it has compared to where the Vet will just kind of break loose when you're not expecting it to, or that you can get to the limit on this car much easier without even being kind of more comfortable with it. So and especially when NCM happens, or Road Atlanta or something, then that edge is much wider.
Sure.
And I've not driven this car yet at all.
Nice.
Have you driven any German car with the turbo?
No.
That's gonna be fun.
Yep. I've only driven 2 German cars, both were Porsches. So
one's on your shirt. Bryan, what do you got?
Well, since you guys aren't bringing the Corvette this year, what are your choices in footwear? Since you're not going to be required to wear the white New Balance, and bust out the Levi's jorts.
Well, they need Adidas now.
I wore Adidas last year.
Adidas.
Yes. I'm
My wife
just,
will laugh
I'm
at
just rocking
this
some
'cause
Nikes.
There you go.
My wife will laugh at this because I've spent the last, couple of weeks now, shopping for Pilates or, looking through what to wear for the week. And she's like, it's shoes. Just wear whatever shoes you have. Like, you don't have to wear any kind of special shoe for the week.
Said no woman ever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right, exactly.
Yeah. Go into that closet. And I'll tell you, we will do, on that note, it is a completely unsponsored plug here, but Bryan and I both are huge fans of the Pilates.
Love them.
I've traveled extensively with them, and they're just really comfortable. And you wait for their sales, and they get really reasonable too. So really fun
The
shoes.
last
all
pair of
around.
shifts I bought, I think I paid $99 for.
Yeah.
Ouch. I like to go over to like the little resale place and buy shoes on sale that were last season's shoes for like $39.
That's called the Corvette swap market. That's
kind of like that.
Yeah, you get a pair of socks that go to your neck as well.
I wish. Mine keep on rolling under my foot. No, I buy whatever I can on sale, and I just don't care because I work from home and I rarely go out of the house unless my wife says we're going out somewhere. So I try and stay home a lot. So I wear whatever is comfortable.
What I liked about mine was, the customer service was good because we both had sort of an issue with ours, and one email and send it back and we'll send you a new pair right away.
Yep.
They were cool, but like when you travel, especially overseas, most vehicles, unless you want to spend a lot of money, are manual transmission, and you don't want to have to wear like sort of a big bulky walking shoe. And I've liked them because you can hop in a car, drive around, go walking around. They've been comfortable, so good job, Pilote, and they're made in Portugal.
I have to think about that we're planning on going to Ireland and Scotland next year. So
Remember,
I'll be doing all the
automatic
driving.
transmissions are still a luxury in those parts of the world.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So getting back to the one lap, which is what we're actually here to talk about, right?
Oh yeah.
And by the way, for those watching, this is sort of how the week goes. We just sort of pick different topics and run with it at random, whether it be in your car or at a dinner, at a parking lot, cool shoes. And then we'll get into a discussion about that.
It's its own little train that meanders around.
It is. Don't follow us. Or good luck following us. So obviously a smattering of tracks this year as always. We have a couple that we haven't been to before. What are you most looking forward to, and what are you the most ambivalent about?
Dan?
Looking forward to NCM, I guess, just because last year, I mean, I've been out there before in the drive before, but I was looking forward to it last year just because it's fun, but the wet killed it. Pit Race is a local track for me, so it'll be fun to kind of be close to home, while doing this. But I've also got a lot of laps around there. But High Plains and Putnam both look like they're pretty interesting. That'll be new stops for me.
Okay.
I didn't drive NCM last year because of the rain. I refused to drive his car in that weather. I said, and I told him the night before, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not getting in the car. I value our friendship too much. I don't need that stress. So I'm looking forward to NCM in the dry. I've never driven Pit Race, even though I lived up there all those years. I never got on track back then. So kind of looking forward to Pit Race, but I've never driven any of these tracks. So I'm looking forward to getting High Plains. Looks a lot of fun. And the two out in Missouri, Nebraska, they look kind of nice and flat and flowy. So I'm kind of looking.
Hollow's supposed to be really cool. The boys at Garmin, that's sort of a local track for them, and I've only heard really good things about Hedge Hollow.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to get out there and check that out too. Albeit I'll be in a pickup truck, but yeah, it'll be fun.
But that's going to be a pretty rocking pickup truck, though.
It's supposed to be pretty darn cool, and for the 40th anniversary, we have some cool touches that we'll be revealing in a little bit. And some of it's going to go to help and benefit the Alzheimer's Association at the end of the day. But yeah, Toyota's been really, really kind to us this year. Not like the previous years where they've, continued to give Bryan wedgies. But they've been really awesome to us this year. and we're looking forward to it. I mean, it should be nice and comfortable.
Yeah. Dan's car's supposedly got massaging seats, so that'll be nice.
They are nice. What tires are you running?
We're going with the Continentals.
The Contis. Okay, so the ECS, the Extreme Contact Sports, or
no, the Extreme Contact So2s.
Okay, very cool. Bryan, what do you got?
Well, what kind of prep work have you guys done? Do you do any simulator work with Assetto Corsa and the modded tracks that are now available? Because I think as of Saturday, every track that's on this year's route is available by mod through Assetto Corsa and race department.
I have no sim whatsoever. So I'm just gonna be watching videos. I sold my car last year, at the end of last year, so I don't even have a car right now to even go out and do some HPDs or anything right now. And I refuse to take my wife's C8 out. And even though she offered it for me to use, I said nope, not gonna do it. So I'm just gonna be learning from the videos, watching videos, and pick up what I can.
Yeah, same thing. I've got a sim, but not set up with Assetto Corsa. So anytime I'm doing time trial events, I'm most of those tracks I'm driving blind as well. So just get used to getting a good walk in.
So and we're just doing true one lap spirit, one recon lap, and then go and have at it.
And we're just doing this for fun. I mean, we're not coming trying to win anything. I mean, Dan might be, but he's last year he said we're just going to go and have fun. We're just going to go for the experience. And then midweek, I could see in his head, like, if we just get to, we're this close. Yeah. We're this close. So if we just go a little bit faster.
You can't help it, can you? Because you go and everybody goes with the intent of being nice. And yes, everybody will help each other get to the finish. But when you look at the score and when you look at the points and you're like, well, it's feasible if I actually try hard here, or if I don't screw up, or if I, it rains tomorrow and I'm all-wheel drive and these guys are rear-wheel drive, we have an advantage. We can move up. And then I don't think anybody, with the exception of maybe, I don't know, I think 3 people over the many years I've been doing this, truly I can say at the end of the day, we're like, yeah, I was just to drive around. I think one of them, there was this thing called The Thing. Literally, it was called The Thing. If you go back, I think it was 2008. If you go to the photos from that era, it was this very weird combination of this. It was just like this very strange
dune buggy or something.
Car. It wasn't even a dune buggy. It was like, imagine the front end of a very old Crown Victoria, the back end of an equally old Caprice, and the middle like a CJ, like a Jeep. It was very strange. It was aptly named The Thing. And these 2 lovely women went out to go do the event in it. And Brock put them, and this is when Senior was still out also. It was the bane of his existence because this is back when we still had longer transits, long total event mileage was roughly, 5,800 miles or so for that year. And they took forever. And I just remember watching both Senior and Junior looking at their watches every 2.5 seconds at Road America, because for this car or thing to complete a lap of Road America, it was roughly a 7-minute lap time.
Ooh.
I mean, it was like you have cars lapping the Nürburgring faster than they were doing one lap, but their radio was blasting. You could hear it from whatever end of the track you were on. And they just had the most wonderful time.
Were they like Flintstoning it or something?
But God bless them. They truly did not care where they came. It was, And yeah, I think there are maybe only two other examples that I can remember where at the end they were just like, yeah, we're just happy to be here, sort of a deal. They didn't get that competitive edge. I think everybody, at least on this event, has some of that in them.
That's one of the things that I noticed the last year is, as other groups that you race with is, yes, we're racing, and of course we want to be there to go fast and to compete, but one lap's, it's like 20% racing and competing, and I think the heart of the event is what happens outside of what happens on the track.
100%, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because the call that we just had prior to this, we were chatting with one of our sponsors, the wonderful gentleman, and obviously they're bringing the media coverage from Hooked on Driving / Everyday Driver, and we talked about, we were chatting about why they opted to purchase Hooked on Driving, the whole franchise, and they were talking about that, it's being on track might only be maybe one day or one weekend out of the year, but it's that whole car community, which is what keeps people coming back. And what they wanted to do is sort of give back to the listening community an actual event that they can do. And there's a lot of synergies there, I think, between our event and that, because, and that's most track days, isn't it? You're happy to get there. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone to instruct and I've left my car in the garage and I've just been sort of talking with the people who I haven't seen for, 5 months over the wintertime, 4 months. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and like you said, we were talking about the Wayne Grandpas the other day. It's really is a very deep bucket that this becomes. You say, oh, I want to do this once, or maybe you do it twice. Very few people just say, I've had enough after 1 or 2 times.
Yeah. Unless
they just had a really, really, crappy experience and everything that possibly could have went wrong did for them. But I love it. I mean, I've been wanting to do this since I was in my teens, and I'm not a young guy. I saw this in Car and Driver, and then a buddy of mine back in Pennsylvania, I was trying to get him to do it back in the 90s, and he was just like, yeah, and we just never did it. But now that I've done it, it's like, if I can find a way to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a high recidivism rate, no doubt. Bryan, go ahead, buddy.
Oh gosh, put me on the spot. I had something planned, but
I deal with this all week. Bryan, what exit are we taking? I don't
know. 136.
That was 5 miles ago.
Exactly. So I'll ask you this then, while Bryan's sort of trying to remember his question. You talked about how you first sort of saw it in Motor Trend, right?
Car and Driver.
Car and Driver. So it was later iteration. So we've gone through now Car and Driver. We've gone through Motor Trend. We're with Grassroots Motorsport now. They're our presenting sponsor, and it's been fun to see them grow over the years. In terms of readership and relevance within the industry. Dan, how did you find out about it? I'm curious there.
Of One Lap?
Yeah.
I don't know really where I first heard about it. I guess just following a little bit more of the history of racing and finding out about Cannonball and I guess that direction of things. Okay. And then when Bryan did it a couple years ago, I mean, I was Mitch last year of, on the phone with him every day of, what did you do today? And what did you find out about how to register or how to, pack, the best way or, just we were already kind of making plans for last year. And Mitch was the same way last year with us. So that's why he's doing it this year with us. So, I think that's where it was.
Okay. Well, we'll believe you. It's fine. Bryan, you got it?
Yep. So, what is in your ideal snack bag for long transit drives?
Well, I'm a junk food junkie. But I really kind of travel light. Just some basic snacks, some pretzels, maybe like little packs, like those little small packs of Nutter Butters or Oreo cookies or something. And They usually bring those little Propel or like Kool-Aid packets, put in some water, and that's it. I'm really not, now that we have more room, I might just, I think Dan talked about bringing a cooler this year. We might have a cooler full of ice cream or something. I don't know.
Okay.
What Dan has not told you yet is he doesn't allow eating in his car.
That was last year.
That was last year in
This
the
car,
vet.
whatever. Yeah.
Alright.
I actually, I blew out the zipper on my race suit at NCM last year, right? So like right towards the end of the event, and I'm sure it had nothing to do with the way that the race suit fit. Maybe I was just nervous about going out in the rain or something and broke it, but so nervous about it going into this year that I've been on a diet for the last 2 months. So going into one lap, my snack would be anything that has a carb or sugar. Like
Nice.
at this point, I'll take pasta. It's just like anything would be great. Pizza.
My training is I've just been eating M&Ms, and like I had a big bag of chocolate covered pretzels yesterday. So, and I went through that in a day, which was bad.
Nice.
But
M&M color of choice?
in my mouth.
It's all brown in there.
Insert joke here.
That's
no,
well,
I
let's
just
move to sponsors or people who help you make this happen. That seems like a perfect time to generate.
yeah, let's say a segue.
Right. So while you have things in your mouth, why don't you tell us about who's supporting you to let you do this year, or what sponsors and what charities you might have. Tell us a little bit about that. Give them some love.
For me, it's my wife. In 2022, some of you that have done one lap met my wife and met our dog here at the house. We had a little transit party in between Nashville and CMP. But she's amazing. She's very supportive of all this. She's never once looked at me and said, really? She's always the one actually telling me, you need to get out more. You need to go to the track more. You need to autocross more. So without her, I couldn't be doing this. She's very supportive, and yes, Dan, she's pretty cool. She treats Dan and Mitch like they're my brothers.
Very cool.
She's probably better than my brother. I don't know.
Well, we appreciate you letting him go. Dan, what about you? I would imagine.
I mean, obviously my wife as well. It didn't take her any time at all to, give me approval to go on this. As soon as she's heard that I was doing it with Bryan and Mitch, she's like, well, you got to do that. Okay, I'm glad you are on board. And,
You're right. I agree with you.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously friends too, Bryan and I and Mitch and I both have co-driven many events over the years. And it's great to have friends you could share a car with and, throw them the keys and not worry about anything of what happens, when they're out having fun.
And we know we can put up with each other for a week.
Yes,
well,
we've done that.
I can't wait to meet Mr. Fig Newton. I think we need to get some banners to put on the car because I don't know how to spell the last name. So just here on out, it's going to be Mr. Fig Newton.
And Mitch is going to be handling all the autocross, the skid pad, and the drag strips if they happen, because he's not done any track stuff. So I guess we should have mentioned that. And Dan and I think right now we're planning on splitting our sessions.
Okay.
So unless it's something really crazy and we're like really close, then I'm just going to let him go. And
we went to an autocross in the car this past weekend, and so Mitch had some experience with the car, and they absolutely butchered his last name at the starting line. And I love it every time because it's just, it's awesome.
We have to figure out some names that we can call them differently every single day of the week. So if you're watching, feel free in the comments section below, type in what's the actual last name? Let's try this again.
Figliolia.
Okay. So what he said, Figliolia, right?
Yep.
Okay, Figliolia. Figliolia is the right name. What should we be calling him for each of the 8 days, or every time we run into him? If there's more suggestions, feel free to type below. No suggestion is a bad one, and we'll be happy to read most of them if they are able to be on air. We'll do that. So we'll go for that way. But gentlemen, it's always a pleasure talking with you. We can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. The appropriately named Team Hall Pass. Thank you for joining Bryan and I. And that is the coverage for this team for the 2024 Tire Rack One Lap of America, presented by Grassroots Motorsport Magazine, with coverage brought to you by Hooked on Driving, Everyday Driver, and the Valente Group. I'm Solomon. That's Bryan. These are your Team Hall Pass. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.